Hi guys, welcome back. Welcome back to 10 Minute Reviews. I hear my fuzzy co-star on her way, so she may be making an appearance. This is Freya, and I'm Jason, and we're bringing you today's video. Yeah, I know. Yes, you are. And as always, guys, please hit the like and subscribe buttons. We're just a small family channel. Just love to bring you guys books, authors, things to read, things to entertain you. We're gonna do it anyway, but all the support really mean a lot to us. So today I want to talk about a book that I haven't talked about before. I want to talk about Small Town Crafter. So I just stumbled across this one on my Kindle Unlimited. Your typical lit RPG, kind of slice of life in a way. And guys, it's really, really, really good. So as always, I'm going to talk about four things. I'm going to talk about the world, the plot, the characters, the plot, the writing style. So, the world is your typical lit RPG, fantasy-esque, Middle Ages adjacent type of world. The one thing I don't really get a sense of is any kind of creatures. I didn't get a sense of elves and dwarves and centaurs and fae and all that kind of stuff. So maybe a little bit less fantasy and a little bit more Middle Ages adjacent. Just Middle Ages adjacent. Of course, since there's magic in it, it's not quite Middle Ages, but again, I don't see a whole lot of the other creatures, the other fantasy tropes within it. But overall, it's a pretty cool little world. Again, Middle Ages type, Middle Ages adjacent. The lit RPG aspect of it is interesting because in this case, it's not a full-blown system type of thing. You don't have you don't have your stats. You don't have a screen that pops. Well, not normally a screen that pops up. You're not physically getting stronger just because you leveled up. Hello, Fuzzy. Right with you. Okay, baby. Okay, I love you too. Sorry, guys. So, thank you, Freya. So, so you don't have a whole lot of like a character gets stronger by working out, and just using their muscles. And while you do end up with things like skills and talents that you can do, instantaneously, you also have the option of doing it manually. Doing it by hand, and it'll take longer, but you actually have the potential for more experience and more skills. So where does the lit RPG start to come into play? Well, characters get their class once they get when they apprentice, when they're trying to get a class, they basically get like a bracelet. And this bracelet holds tokens, and these tokens are where the lit RPG aspect of it comes in, because they're basically skill tokens. And as you level up, as you get experience, they gain experience. That's where you start seeing pop-ups and things like that of 2% of the way towards level 1 or so on and so forth. And it's got skill trees. They have upgraded bracelets that hold more talents, because you can only use the talents that are in the bracelet, and some of them will only hold 2 or 3. Doesn't mean you can't do the talent, but it does mean that you can't utilize the talent as a talent. Like, again, you can do things manually, but if you have the talent, once you've gained the talent, for instance, let me put it this way. Let's do something simple like making a table, right? Making a table with a few pieces of wood. Once you have the talent for it, you could utilize, instead of manually making the table and taking a couple hours, you could just instantly, as long as you have the required materials, just boom, poof, there's a table. It takes you a certain amount of stamina points, so that's where the lit RPG aspect of it comes in. So the main character is Lewis. He goes by Lewis Crafter because he's attempting to learn a craft, and he's a child. He's a teenager that was he was a stepchild of a very wealthy man, and when his mother passed away, he became the afterthought, shoved into a corner in the servants' quarters, treated as a third class citizen. So before he hit his age of majority, which would have been 16 in this world, he decided to just leave. So he left, had a little bit of money, he traveled, and he tried to go to what they call an apprentice fair. Basically, all these masters are looking for apprentices. They, the prospective apprentices come out and they basically try out. So he goes out there and he fails. He fails when he comes and he runs across a absent-minded, I don't want to say doddering old man, but runs across an old man that's looking for an apprentice that ran out of options. So match made in heaven. Master with no options, potential apprentice with no options. There we go. And thus begins his journey. Now, what I really like about this book, one, it's a lot of slice of life, which I really enjoy. And two, it focuses on artificer. Not tinkerer, not crafter, an artificer. So those of you guys that play fantasy role-playing games, tabletop role-playing games, know all about the artificers. They are basically engineers that use magic. Although in this case, he doesn't actually have any magic of his own. He has to take magic from other magical items, which is a skill. Take that magic out, retrieve the magic, basically disenchant it in a way. And thus begins his journey. Thus begins his journey of learning how to craft. And that leads us into the plot of the book. So again, this is a slice of life. So it's not so much plot driven other than Lewis trying to get his craft. Two things, really. Three things. Trying to get his craft and developing friends and family. Because again, this is basically kind of a secondhand orphan in a way. I mean, he's technically got a stepfather, but he's basically, as soon as his mother passed, he was basically an orphan. So he's developing friends, he's developing a family, developing connections with his master. There's rules that he has to follow, but that's the primary thing is developing his family. His main focus at first appears to be developing his class, getting his class, but a lot of it ends up being focused around just building his family. And then as a little side thing, his master actually has a contract to build something, to artifice something that is extremely complex, and that kind of becomes almost a side story within the book that's pretty fascinating. As far as the writing style goes, guys, the dialogue is great. Dialogue's absolutely hilarious. I mean, one of the things that pops up into my head is after the master has worked himself sick a couple of times, and they've had to call the healers because he's collapsed and almost died. Just during a conversation, I'm going to do this. The healer says you're not allowed to. Damn that man. Yes, I know. Trying to keep you alive. Curse him to hell. I mean, it's an absolute riot. The interactions and the dialogue between the characters. Include not just between Lewis and his master, but also Lewis and some of the friends he ends up developing, such as Paisley, who's an apprentice business person, and then Chris, who's an apprentice town crier, which is pretty amusing in and of itself, and Chris's issues that he is having with gaining his class, even gaining an apprenticeship. So it's pretty funny. So there's a lot of great dialogue in it. The story flows really, really well. It's really gripping. I read it all in one sitting. Admittedly, I do that in a lot of books, but it was difficult to put down. You want to see what's next, and you really invest in the characters. Like, this is one of those books where all the characters come across as decent people and people that you actually are interested in and care about. The plot at times can be a little bit transparent. You can kind of see when Chris enters the picture exactly where he was going to slot right in. It was kind of obvious, but that didn't make it any less entertaining, didn't make it any less fun. And that's the thing, guys. The book is fun. It's fun. You got to read this book. You got to check this book out. I don't know if it's going to be a series because, again, slice of life, and it really seemed to be a self-contained story, and it was a fantastic story. It was an awesome story. I'm definitely going to be looking for other things by this author. It was a great book, and that's really all I got, guys. If you haven't checked out Small Town Crafty yet, after you hit the like and subscribe button, go check it out. Like I said, really good book. Really, really, really good book. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will catch you guys next time. Bye now.